time for the 1 p.m. main room session, team building, the secret ingredient to success. My name is Doug Crane and I will be the facilitator for this event. Let's go over some housekeeping first. You are muted now and will remain muted until the instructor asks us to unmute you or finishes her presentation. Your videos are on and you may keep them on. I'm sure that our presenter will appreciate the nonverbal communication. Just please remember that you are being seen, and if you do not want to be seen, please turn your video off. If you have a question during the presentation, please type it into the chat. Simply place a question mark in front of your question for us to easily identify it in the chat. We will do our best to respond to each question to the best of our ability. Your presenter today is Michelle Loewe. Distinguished Toastmaster Michelle Loewe has been in Toastmasters since January of 2014. She's fulfilled multiple roles in her home district 47, including area director, division contest chair, club mentor, club coach, and has organized and run over 10 youth leadership programs in the Delray Beach and Boca Raton areas. She has held numerous club officer roles and has been involved in 130 speech contests in her Toastmasters career. In March of 2017, she was honored with the Outstanding Toastmaster of the Year Award. Her grown-up job is a purchasing agent for the Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County, but her background in theater, clowning, and circus arts keeps the balance between her adulting side and her inner child. Originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Michelle has a new, crazy, beloved family of Toastmasters of South Florida and the Bahamas, and loves to help others achieve things that they didn't think were possible. So with that, we'll turn the show over to Michelle.
Thank you so very much, Douglas. Hello, my fellow Toastmasters, and maybe we don't have any Toastmasters in the room. Welcome. Thank you for sticking around and hanging out with me today for the next hour. We're going to get started. I know there's a lot of hubbub out there. Michelle's going to give us secrets. I am going to give you secrets that aren't really a secret. Let me share my screen here so I can make sure everyone sees what we're doing. Okay, give me a thumbs up if everyone can see that. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I present teamwork, the secret ingredients to success, the top secrets that aren't really a secret. I know nowadays, especially in the world we're living in, building a strong, sensational team is very hard. Some of us are working like this in boxes across the internet. Some of us are face-to-face. But no matter how we are talking to each other, no matter how we are working, the essence of teamwork remains the same. So let's start off. What is a team? Most of you can answer this. What is a team? Is a group of individuals, you, me, them, who are working together to achieve a common goal. Of course, that's what it is. However, we aren't just building a team here. We are building a sensational, successful team. What does that mean? A high-performing, successful team, it's interdependent. All for one and one for all. Heard of that? They were a really good team. They're stable. And I know many of you think I'm crazy, so the word stable doesn't always apply to me, but it applies to a successful team. They're role defined. They know what they are here to do. They share their responsibility. There's a mutual trust and value there. They have strong leadership and clear focus on a common goal. That's the difference. Which one would you want to be on? I think it's pretty obvious. You want to be on that high-performing, successful team. But it needs somebody to lead it. And I'm going to challenge you You are going to be my leaders today. It starts with you and you and you and you. Why now? Why did you decide to step into this role now? Why weren't you ready before? Why you? All the time we have thoughts that go through our head. Somebody else can do this better. Somebody else is much more prepared. Something has to happen in here, in you, to decide this is who I need to be now. And what is your why? That has been something that Toastmasters has been doing all year long. What is your why? What is your why? I have a public speaking client. The first meeting I had with him, I asked him what his why was, and he said, I want to speak in front of 2,000 people by the end of 2022. It's a goal. It's a selfish kind of goal. What is your why? And after talking this through, he said, I used to be one of those people that tore people down. I used to be one of those people that had an addiction to selfishness. I can't go and change the past, but I want to make sure that I lift people up for the rest of my life. That's a good why. Figure out why now, why you, and what your why is before you sign up to jump into a leadership role. It will help you so very much. The leader in you, check yourself. You have a checklist. What are your strengths? What do you excel at? Some people are very, very organized. Really good thing to have in a leader. Some people are compassionate and empathetic, and that is their strength. Also a really good thing to have in a leader. More importantly than finding your strengths, what are your weaknesses? That is really, really hard for people to admit. And some will say, I run late. Some will say this, some will say that. You have to figure out what your weaknesses are, and you need to own them before you step into a leadership role. Own them. Because when you are building a team, you can find somebody that helps balances out your weaknesses. By letting them balance out your weaknesses, you're going to help them rise. Figure out what needs to be accomplished. Often when we're like, sure, I'll sign up, I'll do it, not realizing what we need to do. Make sure it's in your wheelhouse. Make sure you have the capabilities of doing it. Know what is to be accomplished. What can you give and what can you expect to gain? You notice I didn't say what can you take away? What can you take? Servant leaders give. Servant leaders are essential. Servant leaders lead successful teams. It doesn't start with take. It starts with give. And what can you gain from your other members? That is you. Now, I promised that we were going to have some secrets to success. Now we're going to start sharing about how to build your team. Jack Welch said, before you become a leader, success is all about growing yourself. After you become a leader, success is about growing others. That is what a successful leader does. And that is why the team becomes successful. What does a successful team look like? I'm sure we have ideas in our head what a successful team would look like. These are character traits that every successful team has, or at least has the majority of. They have a goal-oriented mindset. They are shooting for the stars. They have said what their goal is, and they're going for it. They are committed to their roles. They came, they said, I'm here for the duration, I'm here for the reason we're all here. Commitment. You want people on your team to be open to learning. Team members who are interested in challenging their skills and learning new ones, that helps encourage personal and professional growth. It kind of sounds like a mission statement we hear in Toastmasters, used quite often, the personal and professional growth. When you're growing in the knowledge that you get from your other team members, how can you not be successful as a team member and just as a human in general? They have diverse perspectives and experiences. Now, the word diversity is tossed around quite often nowadays. This is diversity in the experiences they have. You have people who have lived decades longer than you have. You have people who are right out of school. You have people that have had lots of time to be learning some hard knocks. Diversify your team, because when you bring everybody together and they all have their own perspectives, one, it could help eliminate some obstacles that you might be facing because they've already faced them. Or they can come up with amazing new directions that nobody thought before. And it was something that they had in the back of their brain from something they had learned 14 years ago. But they all can bring in their experiences and learn from each other. There's a shared culture. We share the responsibility. There's a singular mission or a singular set of values, and they all buy into that. Responsibility and accountability. They are here, they agreed. You set the examples, you set the expectations in the beginning. Everyone's held to those expectations. Nobody can say, I didn't know that. Clear communication. We are an organization that is a communication organization and a leadership organization. Often, if people are not sure of their role or not sure of the goal, clear communication gets muddy. You have to be able to communicate what your needs are, what the end task is, and to communicate positive reinforcement. That is how you're going to get to your end results. And last but not least, they have an effective leader. That would be you. Somebody who communicates, who encourages, and drives the team forward. These are all pretty simple. These are common sense. That's why these aren't secrets. They're just sometimes things that we don't always think about. Now, we're going to build the team. There is a really cool gentleman out there named Patrick Linocci. He came up with this model. It's the 5 secret team building ingredients. He's written lots of books. I suggest you go out and pick some of them up. He writes them in business fable form, and they're fun to read. Death by Meetings, I highly recommend. But this is his model to build successful teams. I'm going to give you a second to think, what is the first step in building a successful team? Anybody have any clues? Boom. It's trust. Trust has to be the basis. It has to be the foundation of every team that you build. It has to be the foundation of every relationship you build. Trust is necessary to go for respect. When we talk about trust, teams need to develop a vulnerability-based trust. That's a big word. That's a good 50-cent word right there. Vulnerability-based trust. What does that mean? It means you have to develop a safe zone. You have to allow for a space that people can make mistakes, can admit their weaknesses without attack, without fear of being mocked. And not only your team, you have to be vulnerably based trust. with your team members. You notice how big those letters were at the bottom of that pyramid? That is because this is the most important, and this is what will carry you. Good leadership is a choice. And it's an example to help your team members shine and not outshine them. Cooperation comes from trust, which comes from respect. You must respect the differences. You wanted diversity on your team for it to succeed. You have to respect the differences. Do as I say, not as I do. Nice try, not an option. When I was a division director and I pulled my area directors together, one of the first things I told them is I will never, ever ask you to do something I have not done myself, or I would not be willing to do myself. The do as I do, not as I do, how are you leading by example? How is anybody leading by example if they're not willing to do the exact same things as their members? Micromanaging. Ew, 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 ew. Why? I am going to hold off judgment in case there's anyone out there who enjoys being micromanaged. But as a leader, ew, no. You are taking away the opportunities for your people to grow. You are showing them you don't trust them. And if you are micromanaging them and not allowing them to do the mistakes, mistakes are sometimes the best way for people to learn. And if you are not allowing them to make those mistakes, you're denying them that opportunity. Micromanaging has a tendency to cause animosity and hostility, and it's just not good. I should have made those ew letters much bigger. Ew, no micromanaging. And once again, respect the individual. They have come with talents, they have come with opinions and points of view that are all going to somehow be a benefit to the rest of the team. If you don't give them the respect and trust them, you may have a lack in your team. You may have a hole that could have been filled. Respect each individual that you've got on that team. The second is conflict. Everybody cringes when they read that word, conflict. People automatically think conflict is negative. But in honesty, it's not. The only thing constant in life is change. Listen to me. The only thing constant in life is change. And I know some people will say, oh no, the love I have for my partner, that will never change. I like Hallmark just like everybody else, but things change. The only thing constant in life is change. And change does not happen without conflict. If you do not have some reason to change, the conflict is what provides it. The conflict, the healthy kind, mind you, is what causes the necessity for change. Now, there are two different kinds of conflict: constructive and destructive. We are all very, very familiar with destructive conflict. We've seen it in the news. We've seen it in our families. We have seen it in our teams. We've seen it in our relationships. Nothing good comes from destructive. It causes distrust. It breaks relationships. It destroys relationships. And things do not get accomplished because there is no respect. Constructive, on the other hand, is good. It is okay to have constructive conflict. Constructive conflict means you have varying opinions. which is natural because nobody is the same. Everybody has their own point of view and they bring them to the table. Now you can debate, you can discuss, you can even agree to disagree. But you keep in mind all the conversation that's happening right there still drives you forward to a resolution towards your end goal. Conflict is necessary. Make sure it's constructive conflict when you are having your team discussions. Commitment. Some people fear that word. No reason to fear that word when we're building our team. No reason, because everybody needs to have commitment. The commitment means building a committed team by either buy-in or clarity. Buy-in means that you've shared your ideas with your team members and they've shared theirs and they have input and they feel like they've been heard. It is so important for team members, for humans in general, to feel like they've been heard. And when you have the buy-in from your members, they're going to be more committed to getting to that end goal. And clarity. It is vital for all members to be clear about the decisions they've agreed to. By a show of emojis, how many of you have read every single word of the things you do when you get an app and there's like pages and pages and pages and pages of legalese, and at the very end there's this little button that says I accept the terms and conditions? Has anyone read all of those? No, but we committed to it. We committed to by clicking I accept. Heaven forbid something goes wrong and they come back at us. We have no idea what we said we would or wouldn't do. Don't let that happen to your team. Don't let them just click the I accept button and move forward. Clarity must happen. They have to know what they've agreed to. You want them to know what they've agreed to. You establish those expectations on day one. You communicate a culture of shared responsibility, of shared problem solving, inclusive decision making. You come together. You come together as a team and discuss. That's where your buy-in happens. You let my and ours become synonymous. My team is our team. My members are our members. I still call the members that were in Toastmasters when I was an area director and division director, my members. And I still call my area directors who have moved on to other fantastic roles, my team. But it was our team that got them there. And it is our team that helped our members make my and ours synonymous. Accountability. Some people don't like this word either. They don't want to be held accountable for something. Why not? If you came and you've committed, you should be held accountable. You have that commitment. It is easier for the team to embrace the accountability and meet the expectations that were what? Yes, set at the very beginning, like we said. You set those up first. No surprises. This is what I expect. This is what the team expects. There should never be any, oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, I never heard that. When did you say that? At the end of each meeting, you make sure they understood what's been said. Relationships that team members establish with each other is just as important as the ones you establish with them. It continues. When you have built a strong team, that means you've built a strong relationship. And those team members will continue to support each other no matter where they go. I look at my former area directors. They are still helping each other out and they're still giving back. And I still have such a proud mama bear feeling about them because of the relationships they established when we were all together. It's lovely to see them continue. And when a member is held accountable, they typically will do their best work. Close to it, most of the time. But when they're given the respect of saying, this is what you agreed to do, and this is what we asked for you to do, they typically will do that. And sometimes even surprise you and go even further beyond. Results. Getting up to the very top of this triangle, results. What are the results? The results are why the team exists. Achieving the team objectives is why the team exists. It's what brought you together in the first place. You were focused. There was determination, dedication, sometimes blood, sweat, and tears, all necessary to achieve the good results. And when those results are achieved, you need to, as a leader, as a fellow team member, you need to show appreciation for what has been achieved. Sometimes you're on a team for a short period of time. You might only be on a team for a week, or you might be on a team for a year or 4 years or longer than you'd ever want to admit. But the appreciation that you give to your team members, to your leader, to the other people involved, that can be the motivation to push them even further beyond your expectations. That is the impetus for people to continue to grow. What a fantastic gift. Who doesn't like to celebrate? And given a good reason to celebrate, why wouldn't you want to do that? You want to reward and celebrate that good work. Come together and pat each other on the back for what you have accomplished. This is the guy I was talking about. This is Patrick Lenochki's. He has fantastic quotes out there, but this one really struck home with me. It's not finance. It's not strategy. It's not technology. It's teamwork that remains the ultimate competitive advantage because it is so powerful and so rare. I know that we've all somehow, some way have been involved with a team. I know we can all walk away with fantastic stories and the lessons learned that will never allow to happen again. These are the secrets to teamwork. These are the secrets I promise to tell you about building successful teams. Now that you're in on these secrets, what are you going to do with them? How are you going to take that pyramid of trust, of conflict, of commitment, of accountability, and of results? And what are you, as future leaders, as future team builders, maybe even current ones, what are you going to do with it? That's my challenge to you. You can take away from here. We're having a class, so you can take from here. What will you do when given the opportunity to build your team? And how are you, as a member or as the leader, going to make sure it achieves success? I am now open to questions. I know we had some things popping up in the chat, and I can only see it out of the corner of my eye. I did put my contact information there. If you have any questions, it's down there. You can copy it. Everyone in Toastmasters has my email, my phone number anyways, so don't be worried about passing this around. But I'm open to questions. What do you want to learn? What do you have burning questions about when building successful teams? Or what have you unfortunately suffered because you haven't been able to be on a successful team?
All right, thank you very much, Michelle. An excellent presentation on teamwork. I know our Toastmasters in attendance are all processing your information right now. We've had some dialogue in there, but no questions as of yet in the chat. So this is your opportunity to ask your questions about teamwork, share your stories, get some insight, ask some questions. The floor is open for that.
I think we have some fantastic team leaders in here because we have no questions. And that makes me super excited.
Oh,
I hope that the quad is paying attention. You've got lots of future leaders in here for next year.
Well, just as we said that, the questions are coming in fast and furious here. So
Okay.
with this one, Michelle, what would you suggest as ideas to overcome conflict?
Communication, communication. Most of the time when it comes to destructive conflict, it's because things haven't been communicated properly. It is very easy, especially when we have so many different cultures coming together and working together, that they may not have those shared experiences and they're not opening up their minds to learning about others. If you're running into that kind of headbutting and conflict, literally it's, let's put a pause on this. You can't go any further. Do not try to keep pushing through that because it's going to be an anchor pulling you back. Sit down and say, all right, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm getting from you guys. Let's talk it out. Like I said, it is okay to agree to disagree. It's all right because we're coming from different backgrounds and different faiths and different morals. That's okay, as long as the agreement is there. Talk it through. And if they can't talk it through together, pull them aside. You never know what's happening out in their own lives. We are very involved with our Toastmasters world, but believe it or not, there is a world outside of this that you may not know exactly what's happening. You may not know that there's conflict going on at home, that it's human nature to carry that with you. And a simple conversation can find that out. It may not solve the conflict at home. It may not solve the conflict with a boyfriend, but people want to be heard. People need to be heard. And just being able to communicate and listen, that could help solve the conflict for your team.
Great. We have another question from Jill. What is the secret to keeping up the enthusiasm?
Coffee, lots of it. No, when you come together for a team, you feed off of each other's excitement. You feed off of each other's enthusiasm. Happiness is catchy. Smiles are catchy. That is what I've always kind of thought. You know, when you smile at somebody on the street, sometimes they'll smile back at you and then they have a tendency to smile at somebody else. It's a fantastic, catchy, it's better than the pandemic we have going on. Happiness and enthusiasm can be a pandemic if people would allow it. I do drink a lot of coffee. I highly recommend that. But also remember, you are all coming together for a goal. You're coming together and you want to see each other succeed. It's very hard not to be enthusiastic when you are achieving your goals.
Excellent. Here's a different question from Andrea. How do you build trust when it has already been hurt in a team?
Ooh, that's hard. That's hard. It goes back to the communication. Once again, sometimes trust is broken and it wasn't intended. It could have been a misunderstanding. Sometimes it was intended. And then that's when you, either as the leader or as a team member, need to come to the self-awareness of, I'm either going to forgive this person and not let it hinder our forward progress to our goal, or I need to remove myself from the situation. If you don't think you can continue working with that person because that trust is broken, you need to make that decision after trying to solve it, trying to find out why, what happened, but you need to make that decision. When they've broken the trust, you can say, you've broken my trust. And you can tell right then if it's been on purpose or if it was accidental. Most good people don't intend to hurt other good people. And if it was mean-spirited, if it was an attack, they need to step back and say, why did you come here? Go back to your whys. Why did you come here? Why you? And you need to step back and say, what is my compass? What is my moral compass here? Am I going to be able to continue working with this person? Am I able to continue on our goal to our results? Or is it going to be better for me personally, mentally, emotionally to step away? And nobody can fault you for that. Nobody can fault you for that, because we have all been in situations that we have dreaded being there. And it's because of one person, both professionally and personally. That one person, that one bad apple can ruin everything. And it's up to you on how you want to handle that. But that takes a lot of a self-examination. And I can't give you an exact answer because I'm not you. But I know when I've been in that situation, it took a lot of soul searching to say, you know what, I'm going to get past this and my team is going to continue. Or it takes a lot for me to say this, but it's going to be best for all involved if I step away. But you are the only person that can make that decision.
There are a couple questions here regarding, and I'll kind of paraphrase them together, but how to deal with unique personalities on your team. You know, when I think this is particularly true when you don't have the ability to change the members, you're kind of locked in with the same members. One person said you deal with a teammate who is childlike. Another said, how much credit do you give to individual personalities for helping or hurting a team? So maybe you can address a bit, how do you deal with a personality in your team when you don't have the option to just dismiss them or step yourself away from them?
First off, using the word unique, I consider being unique a compliment. So it took me a second to say, oh, I know what they mean. Everybody is different. And everybody has something fantastic that they bring to the table and maybe not so fantastic. I choose to focus on the fantastic things they bring to the table. Hopefully those things that they bring to the table are bigger than the fact that they regress to a teenager every once in a while, or the fact that they're extra unique. They probably have the same feeling about you. Like I said, everybody is their own individual. You have to respect the individual and think of their contributions to the entire team. The entire team. If it comes to be that bad of a situation, that's when you come to the table and communicate. That's your conflict. Just make sure it's a constructive conflict. If somebody is irritating and getting under your skin, bring it to the table. just like in a relationship, you don't go into a relationship to change somebody. If anyone has gotten into a relationship with a boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, and went in to change them, you're going to be single. Maybe not now, maybe not next week, but eventually you're going to be single. And the same thing's going to happen when you're on a team. If you go in there, say, I am going to make everyone just like me, you're not going to have your diversity. And you're not going to have anyone who wants to work with you. That's micromanaging of somebody's feelings. Look at their aspects, look at their uniqueness, and find out, is the good factors overshadowing their uniqueness? And if not, have the discussion.
Excellent. We have a couple other questions in the chat here. Juan said he struggles to build with building teams outside of Toastmasters. That nice warm Toastmasters support makes it a little easier. Do you have any suggestions on how to build teams outside of Toastmasters? Same, based on what you discussed today.
Toastmasters is a fantastically warm, fuzzy blanket. I love it. You get good, fuzzy feelings here. But we do have to venture out into that real world. And there are going to be times that you have to build or work with teams. Start with one person. Don't go out there and say, I'm going to build my entire team of 60. Anybody would get anxiety for that. Start with one person. Start with one person who you have common interests with, who you know that they're working on that project too, and start laying your foundation of trust and communication there. It turns out if you build a relationship like a friendship with people, friends don't want to let friends down. That's why with my team members, we are close. We dub each other brothers and sisters and family. You don't want to let each other down, but it starts with one person. You can start with that one person and they know people who may be perfect to fit into the group or into the team. And then your team can grow. But you don't have to start off with numerous people. Find the one person that you feel like you have a connection with and start from there. And then you have two people working together. And two people accomplish double the things that one person can. And then two people become 4 people, become 8 people. And I'm not going to do any higher math beyond 8 people. But it compounds. Start with one.
Excellent. We have one more question in the chat. How do you get results from a team member who isn't accountable even though they know the goal?
If you are just another team member and they're not being accountable towards the goal, that's when you talk to your leader. I'm sure that leader knows. I say this often. I will be your biggest cheerleader. I will protect my team to the ends of the earth, but I will be the first one to call them on the carpet if I find out they're getting out of line. And that's also respect. I don't want somebody coming around and talking behind their back. I'm going to address you face forward. If it's getting that bad and the leader's not aware of it, bring it to their attention. Just say, by the way, I'm not sure if you know this is going on, but this is going on. Somebody is actually doing all their error reports for them. It goes back to the communication. Sometimes you can work it out on their own. Sometimes they're having an off day. Sometimes they're having an off month. But let the leader take care of it. That is their team as well. And they're the ones who are supposed to be pushing you forward to achieving your goal. If they have somebody in their bucket of apples that's starting to turn rotten, they're going to need to address that.
All right. Well, we have reached the end of our time here for this session. So everyone, please take a moment to join me in thanking Michelle for this incredible presentation today. Please use your emojis, everything, chat. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we all learned something new about teamwork. And as a librarian, I always like it when people recommend books. So we have all of the books in the library as well. So District 47 and its members appreciate your time and service. Right now, I have pasted the evaluation link in the chat. Please complete it within the next 24 hours or do it right away because it only takes a few minutes to complete. Division D and E appreciates the fact that you took the time out of your busy schedules today to join us for this presentation to further develop yourself, which will bring benefit to your clubs, areas, divisions, and the district as a whole. I'll just personally say thank you, Michelle. It was a pleasure having you here. And I'll open the floor up to our district and division leaders who'd ever like to take the lead.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see those emojis on the screen. If you enjoyed this Toastmasters Leadership Institute this afternoon, we had the virtual session starting from 9 a.m. and some of you were here on time. I mean, from 8 a.m. A lot of you were in the waiting room ready to go. So I know that you were excited. And I hope that our presenters, our facilitators, our entire team delivered this morning for you. And so we would just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much to everyone. But just a few reminders before we leave. If you, for some odd reason, did not have an opportunity to get trained during one of those 2 sessions, there's still a chance for you to do so. On January 15th, we have divisions C, F, and I, who will be hosting their virtual TLI. Well, hosting it, it's open to everyone. That's how we work. That's how we work in District 47. Welcome to the big leagues. And we are also going to January 22nd with Division A, who will be hosting another round. And see, we're offering it for everyone. No one has any excuse because we're looking for 7 officers trained. So if you didn't get that date, let me tell you, the month of January is jam-packed. January 15th, Division C, F, and I will be hosting. January 22nd, Division A, and then January 29th, Division B. You have no excuse, ladies and gentlemen. And I am a big advocate for that Shooting Star Award. So I just want to remind you all that, listen, if you did not have your new member or the newest member, any member who is not an officer attend this virtual TLI today, feel free to make sure they get the date for any of those 3 sessions because we want to ensure, I mean, Dynamic Division D would like to receive that award, but you know, we are going to open it up for everyone to ensure that we remind you all that let your shooting star attend the Toastmasters Leadership Award so they can be able to receive the District 47 Shooting Star Award. As a matter of fact, this past weekend, our District 47 Shooting Star for last Toastmasters year just received his award in person at our district executive council meeting. Toastmaster BJ received his award. So that can be you next year. And we're looking forward to that. So please ensure. Now, we talked a whole lot about our goals. We talked a whole lot about our mission for this year, but I do not want you to forget that in order for us to ensure that we have those goals, we need those dues paid. Dues have to be paid. We can have as many goals as we wish, but if we do not have that base of 20 or plus 5 of your club, whatever you started, just add 5 on that. I know many of us are not mathematicians here, but be like me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just add it to that number, and you can ensure that you know that you are either a President's Distinguished, or Select Distinguished Club, and that occurs next year, and we're looking forward to that. Ensure that we hit those goals because we're on a mission, and that can happen if we do it together. At this time, I would like to yield to Distinguished Toastmaster Tiffany Burrell Roberts, but I would just like to also shout out Distinguished Toastmaster Beverly Cordner and Distinguished Toastmaster Shanika Pinder, our TLI chairs for District 47 as well. They would also, if you have any other questions, listen about TLI and the other rest of dates, because you have many opportunities to train, feel free to shoot them a message because they are going to be on it under the leadership of Distinguished Toastmaster Austin Canonica. The email is posted in the chat. And so I yield this lecture to Distinguished Toastmaster Tiffany Burrell Roberts.
Let's give it up for our distinguished Toastmaster, Deandra Dossett, Dynamic D. And Division E will be taking home that shooting star. I just needed to mention that. But anyhow, we just like to thank all of our presenters, our main room presenters, Godfrey McAllister, Sandy Huffman-Hanson, and Michelle Leeway. We'll also like to present our facilitators for the main room, Douglas Crane, Akia Sweeting. We would like to thank them for the main room. We would also like to thank our presenters that presented for our president's role. We had Kate McClare and Patricia Stevenson. They are facilitators, Mark Parks and Maria Lozano. We have our VPE presenters, Evelyn Benson, Huon Green, and their facilitators, Rick Marty and Christina Sweeting. We had our VPPR presenters, Lashinda Moore and Dorette Keane, and their facilitators, Armando Hernandez and Christine Sweeting. We had our VPPR presenters, Dominic Kaloya, I do apologize, and Blaze Goldsmith, and their facilitators, Chanel Williams and Fonya Scott Seymour. We had our secretary presenters, Price Polonies and Lapidra Damianos, and their facilitators, Maria Lozano and Chanel Williams. We had our treasurers presenters, Barbara Strastas and Ivanka Paul, their facilitators, Susan George and Gina White. And finally, our SAA presenters, Catherine McManus and Arun
Krishnamurthy.
Thank you. And our facilitators, Rashale Bean. Thank you so much. Please forgive me for messing up the names. I thank all of you, all of our attendees for attending today's session. We could not have done it without you because a session cannot exist without the attendees. So we thank you for your participation this morning. We thank you for logging in. We thank you for taking time with your busy schedule this blessed Saturday morning into the afternoon. And again, we must ensure that we commit to our goal of 5 DCP, 5 or more DCP goals by December 30th. We can't stress that enough. So please, let's convert and ensure that those goals are submitted. Again, thank you all for your attendance this afternoon. And just a reminder that there are TLI sessions in January. So please support. You will get information on our District 47 page and also our Facebook pages. So please stay tuned for any other event. And again, have a blessed Saturday afternoon. Deandra, did I miss anything besides Division E will be winning that Shooting Star Award?
Just a reminder to complete all of the evaluation links. They are most definitely important simply because we want to ensure that our presenters for each session, they will be receiving that. So just give them some feedback as well as the organizers, because we want to ensure that we are improving in District 47 because that's what it's all about. So please ensure you take about 1 minute to provide honest feedback to our presenters. The link has been posted. The Toastmaster Douglas Crane posted the link for Distinguished Toastmaster Michelle Leeway. So click on it, provide some comments and feedback so that Michelle and the organizers can know what we can do to improve and what you're looking for at our next session. Thank you so much.
And before we leave, don't forget, I just want to let you know that 1 means strongly agree and 5 means strongly disagree. Just want to ensure that you know that. Do not make the mistake that I made and many others did, because we did not. Yes, we did not. However, refreshments are available. I just want you to get up and go to that kitchen and get whatever you want to eat and drink. Refreshments are on us. Again, thank you so much for coming out this afternoon. We really appreciate all of you. And remember to visit our District 47 webpage, visit the Division D, Division E, and all of the other Facebook pages and the District 47 Facebook pages. And remember to support your area directors, support your division directors, and especially support our district director and district team so that we can end this year as a Smedley district. Thank you so much and have a blessed evening. Don't forget to go to your refreshments. Go get some refreshments. I know that you are all hungry because I am.